helping the active and reflective learners. So the active learner is exactly what the title means. They active. They like to do things actively. They like hands-on. They like application. And they're going to retain and understand more information and better if they're able to really actively do something with it. So when you are teaching an active learner, you're going to be able to identify that they are an active learner because they're going to use some kind of phraseology or something like, let's try that out. Can I see how that works? How am I going to use this somewhere else? Show me. In contrast to the active learner is the reflective learner. So we want to think of the active learner as more outward. The reflective learner is more inward. They're going to be the one that likes to think things through, and they like to have things quiet. So the best way to identify a reflective learner is to just sit and listen to them. They're going to say things like, can I think about this for a minute? Just a moment. I need quiet. Excuse me. And they're going to kind of pull themselves away so that they have a little bit of that quiet time. When it comes to working with other people, active learners are going to want to be in a group. They love being with other people. They love talking. They love interacting. They love that option to really be able to be with someone else. In contrast, that reflective learner is going to prefer to learn alone. It's very difficult for a lecture for both the active and the reflective. But as you can imagine, it's going to be more difficult for that active learner. That active learner really needs to have something physical to do, and it's really difficult for them. So taking notes is really going to be essential for them, finding something they can do to manipulate or to find an application. So if you're an instructor and you're forced within this lecture mode of instruction, be sure to reach out to your active learners and give them some ideas of how they can apply and try what you are teaching them later. Like all of our learning personality types on one spectrum or the other end, everybody is going to be active and everybody is going to be reflective at times. Now you may have a preference for one category or another, and one is going to be really strong. Sometimes it might be moderate. Maybe you're somewhere in the middle. But a balance of the two is really going to be most desirable for most effective learning. If you always act before you reflect, as is the active learner, think of what you miss out on. Not only that, you may make really some strange and odd errors. Now, if you always were to spend too much reflecting time, right, what happens? Well, you become sedentary. You don't get anything done. Helping the active learner. So if you're an active learner and you're in a classroom that allows almost no class time for discussion or problem solving or application, it's really going to be up to you to jump in and figure out how you're going to create some kind of active learning opportunity. A couple of suggestions are studying with a group. So you may want to be able to sit down with a group of friends and take turns explaining things and to figure out what the other thinks is happening or what you're going to be able to do with the information. See what you can do with the information. Another option is to really try to anticipate what's going to come next. You can do this even when you are in the middle of a lecture by yourself. You can sit down and think, okay, well, this is where we're headed now. Where are we going next? What can be asked next? We can also look and say, what's going to be on the test? See what you can find to anticipate or what you think is going to be the next part of your lecture or the information that will be taught. You may also want to look and see how you can connect those two items. Now, if you are anticipating what test questions might be there, also take that extra step to figure out what you think would be the best answer for that question. Remember, for the active learner, they're going to retain the information best if they have a way to actually apply the information. Helping the reflective learner. One of the most difficult things for the reflective learner within any kind of learning situation is that they are usually given a lot of information really fast, and there's not a lot of time for them to think, to ponder, or to really be able to assimilate that information and figure out where that new information fits in with what they already know. Although there's not a lot you can do within that lecture or that classroom setting, remember that when you leave and you walk out, you can really take some time to review what you have read. You can review what was taught. One thing to do for the reflective learner is if you are on a college campus and you're making your own schedule, try not to schedule your classes back to back. This will give you the opportunity to reflect and to go over the information before you are stuck in the next learning situation and you have the next amount and great amount of information given to you on a completely different topic. So as you are going over and reviewing information that you've already looked at or your notes, also try to think of some possible questions. Really ponder how you can apply it to your life and maybe see what you can do to make connections to other topics or other disciplines. So one of my favorite things to do for the reflective learner is to really try Cornell Notes. And also, you might find it helpful to write some summaries. You may want to do some readings, class notes, rewrite those in your own words. It's going to take a lot of extra time, but it's going to help you to retain the information more effectively.